support retailers who are supporting care. So we want to encourage consumers to take advantage of those folks who are supporting the care organization and make sure that you're purchasing products from those particular dealers and retailers. But like I said, you can also find your local collector by clicking on that map.
And by the way, if you want to see the Carpet and Rug Institute Sustainability Report, since we're doing plugs, carpet-rug.org. All right, let's see. Here's one for all the manufacturers. What are some of the challenges that you meet in putting together metrics for measuring the various components of sustainability? And I'll add from my perspective, especially as it relates to social responsibility.
I would just say that a lot of them are dictated or driven, suggested, if you will, by the GRI. That really gives you the primary list. If you're going to be GRI compliant, Global Resource Initiative compliant, then you follow the guidelines that they establish. And there are other things you can add, but that really covers all the triple bottom line approach.
And I think if you talk about challenges, I mean, one of the things is, within our industry, there's been a lot of acquisitions over time. So you have different ranges of you've got information from this facility, you've got information from another facility, but in order to put together an energy, for example, you've got to have everyone starting on the same basis. So I think that's somewhat of a challenge. And then making sure that you're able to, okay, you have these particular metrics, in terms of changing them, you've got to be able to have enough process information so you know how you can go in and actually change the process so you can reduce the metrics. So I think the biggest thing is, and we had in our report, we have 38 metrics. Most of those are environmental, but there's a lot of social metrics as well. But understanding I think the biggest challenge is putting things in place to make sure that we can accurately get the information.
I think when it comes to some of the different environmental metrics, I think what becomes increasingly somewhat difficult inside of that is, like you talked about earlier, is finding a baseline, thinking of a baseline, so you can go back and always kind of look at your performance based on where you're at and where you want to go. And also in complexity inside of that is, how do you account for that baseline as your business grows organically or inorganically over a number of years? And how do you do that? And like David said, GRI and some other give you some indications on how to account for some of those organic and inorganic growths, but trying to pick a point in time, extrapolate that over 10 years, and take in consideration the dynamic nature of our businesses and our industry to make sure that those metrics make sense. And then also a challenge inside of that as well too is, how do we make that so it has an actual business benefit inside of it? I mean, if it has an economic return or it has an economic value inside of our businesses is also a challenge as well too. So it's hitting on the triple bottom line again, but it's also making sure that they're SMART goals, that they're specific, and you can measure them, and they're actually at the end of the day achievable.
Just have one comment on that. From looking at our companies and the size of our companies, it's not as difficult to do some of this. From having headed up the sustainability reporting process for CRI, when you get into some of the smaller companies, you get into some very manpower limitations, dollar limitations, and the ability to come up with metrics that any company could provide. I mean, like I said, it's very easy for us in a lot of cases to do it. I'll say easy, that's a relative term. It's more achievable for us in some cases because we've got the manpower and money. But a small company that has one manufacturing plant, not an engineering staff, not an ability to record and install measuring devices in a lot of cases, it becomes much more difficult then to track these things. So we've had to modify some reports simply to do that, and go back and verify data becomes, again, as was pointed out here, that's a big issue. And the further away you get from the current, the more likely that data is questionable or not verifiable at all in some cases.
I'd like to add to that too, and just say that I'll debate the other side of what Larry said. I think it's actually extremely difficult to get measurements right. From our perspective as a large company, we have operations all over, very very diverse operations, and it becomes challenging to have one measurement that fits across all those operations. And so you have to find the right numerator, the right denominator. And as you know that in care, it's a challenge. So for us, I can tell you that measurements don't happen overnight. You have to measure everything. We do measure everything, but I'll tell you that for us, establishing measurements that are accurate and reliable, it takes a long time, it takes years, and it takes complex systems to do so because of the diversity of your operations. So for us, it has been challenging, but we build our confidence. We have built tremendous confidence in our measurements, but it's taken years. It's not a quick process.
You know, I might